r/AskReddit. What evil prank have you pulled off? I used to work for a cruise line. A passenger asked if the crew lives on the ship full-time. I and my coworker explained that no. The crew leaves every night to fly back to Miami and then returns each morning. She walked away satisfied. After that cruise was over, our manager was sharing the passenger evaluations with us and was confused about one in particular. It was a woman who had stayed on deck 14 and had complained that she couldn't sleep at night because of the noise of the crew helicopter. Fact 1. 200 crew do not leave every night but do live on the ship. Fact 2. That ship didn't even have a helipad. Question. WTF was she hearing every night? Someone in the next cabin using helicopter sounds as ambient noise to sleep. 48 minutes of soothing, relaxing, meditating Vietnam War sounds for studying and thinking. Gradually over the course of 2 weeks moved my coworker's monitors closer to the front edge of the desk. Like 1/4 per move. Until they were so close the keyboard barely fit. Stupid small desk. She grumbled. Near the end, I then moved them back. Just as slowly. Over a few weeks. She never caught on. Michael. People in school used to always take my Gatorade. So I took an empty bottle, filled it with dyed salt water, and let them take my drink. Not gonna lie. It was hilarious watching one person to spit salt water in the middle of class only for their unbelieving friend to do the same. Over a decade ago I worked in the warehouse of a guitar center. We dealt with inventory, shipping and receiving. We had a dumpster behind the store in a shared parking lot that people would leave random things in even though it was not a public dumpster. One day we found a broken beach chair in an open cardboard box. The box had a shipping label on it. It was left in such a way that it was easy to assume that the chair-box combo was left by the same person. We packed the beach chair in another box and shipped it back to the customer. I wish I was there to see the person's face when they received their trash back via UPS. Picked out every last marshmallow from my sister's box of Lucky Charms. Then took a photo of me eating a bowl of Just Charms. Printed it. And put in the bottom of the bag. I then sealed the bag back up. Hot glued the box and back in the pantry it went. This isn't a prank, this is the work of Satan. One night I replaced every framed object in my boss's office with a picture of me making a stern face. Posters, certificates, photos, etc. Took like 3 hours because he had like 30 framed things in his office. The next day I made sure I was out doing field work to make him sit with it most of the day. He had a lot of foot traffic to look at his office that day. I worked in an office that had 4 offices with shared partitions that had glass at the top. My neighbor wasn't the most observant person and kind of a dick. So I started printing random pictures like Nicolas Cage and setting them on my side of the office facing into his. He never noticed. It got to the point where everyone else in the office would check what photo I had set that week, but he never caught on. I lived in Korea for a bit. When my mom came to visit I told my Korean girlfriend it was an American custom to greet older women by touching elbows. I told my mom the same story about Korean customs. It was a thing of beauty. They were not pleased. I remember it like it was yesterday. At summer camp my cabin's leaders found a little snake that wasn't doing so well, so they decided to put it in an old terrarium in our cabin. A few of the guys were nervous about it. So the next day when the leaders decided the snake was well enough to release, I asked that they keep quiet about releasing it. When the other guys got back to the cabin and found no snake in the terrarium, chaos ensued. Not a prank I pulled off, but one I was victim to. My manager had left me in charge of the store when I was 16, not legal but that's a whole other mess, for a whole weekend. Saturday went well and I was happy with how I went. Although my paranoid brain is always concerned about whether or not doors are actually locked. I am the same with my house. But the store was worse. So I make my dad drive down to the store to double check that everything is okay. 15 minutes later I get a phone call from him saying, "Manager, and the police are here because the door was unlocked and people were inside." Cue to me on the floor in tears hyperventilating. While my dad is telling my mum, who had since picked up the phone, that he was only kidding and that everything was fine. How to induce a panic attack 101. My mum's laptop wallpaper was a picture of her granddaughter. I copied the picture 100 times and made her wallpaper a slideshow of the same picture over and over again. So the file would change but nothing would change visibly on the monitor. The pictures would change every 10 seconds. On one of the images I painted a tiny little curly mustache on her. So randomly for 10 seconds my niece would have a mustache. My mum thought she was either losing her mind or had a computer virus, and every time the mustache popped up, it was gone by the time she tried to show anyone. I did something similar to a college friend. I replaced a single system sound file, the click for the mouse, with a 5-minute version. It started off identical, followed by 4 minutes and 50 seconds of silence. But at the end, it had me screaming. Now if another system sound would play, it stopped playing the previous sound. So he would use his computer. And then when he would walk away, it might scream 5 minutes later. One summer in college, I worked in the registrar's office, registering all the incoming freshmen. A professor who was a mentor to me was teaching freshman seminar and asked me to hand-pick a class for her. Straight A students. High SATs. Whatever. So I did. 15 students. All named Sarah. How did the class go? They totally bonded and had shirts made. That's all folks. Thanks for watching. Remember to smash the like button if you enjoyed the video.